Hi, this is the 50PLUSGAMER. I posted a video showing how I had purchased a Tracer Zonda steering wheel. I am now doing a second video. This video is just giving you the background of my completed mapping and how I have been able to use that particular steering wheel with my software, and the fact that I was one of those people that was not using a steering wheel, and by not using a steering wheel I have to confess I was losing out on the experience of playing EUROTRUCK Simulator and having an amazing gaming experience. So what I'm going to do is pick a small job just to show you how this steering wheel works with the actual game. Although it is a racing steering wheel, I have to confess it does work particularly well. What I have noticed is that there is one key that I had forgot to map, and that was my wipers. So what I'm going to try and do at the moment is go in and see if I can correct that before I continue the game. So let's see what I can do at the moment. So we continue the game. You would then go into options. You would then go into, I would suggest we go into assign game actions. And we would scroll down to where it says wipers. I want to see, right, I have not assigned this key. So you highlight the button and you press the relevant key, and you would just literally come out of that option. Now that's that key set. I was playing the game and realized that I had to drive the last few distances while the rain was pelting on the windscreen, and believe it or not, it wasn't a good experience. So there's my vehicle, which is a Scania. I have my company name, which is Subsonic. I will now come out and then try and pick a job. We'll go to the freight. I'm going to look for a relatively small job just to show you how this particular steering wheel works with the game. I am currently in Luxembourg, so what I need to be doing is taking a job back from Luxembourg, preferably to London, which is one of my garages, and I only want something relatively short. Let's have a look. I'll do this Luxembourg to Lyon. That seems reasonably straight as well. I'll say I shouldn't get many difficulties, but the idea is for me to show you how this wheel performs. So I'm going to set my GPS. Now what I need to do is make my way to that particular job, and let's see if I'm inside the cab. There we go. Let's get started. Let's put some brakes on and let's go. Let's have a look at this. My sat-nav doesn't seem to be telling me where I'm going. So let's start that again and find out what's going off there. Oh, the idea being is that job is set. Let's set that. Have a look. That's probably why. There we go. Let's go forward. and let's pick that job up. Let's take the job, which is Luxembourg to Lyon. Let's see if I'm pronouncing it correct. If I am pronouncing it in the wrong way, please post in the comments and let me know. I will be leaving a full description of how you can purchase this wheel, where you can get it from, and I will be putting some specs in there. If you watch my earlier video, you will then be able to see how I mapped the keys to work with this particular game. And you're going to have to excuse me because this is the first time I've really used this wheel to show you on a full job. So let's have a look. I haven't got the advanced trailer coupling turned on because I need to understand this wheel as well, and as soon as I get fluent with the wheel, I will then let's show you what's happening there. That's there. That was the retractable landing gear going up then, because as you can see now they're off the ground and we're ready to proceed with our journey. Let's get it out of reverse and let's head off. I'm going to stay outside the cab just to show you the full scope. And if you are into games like this, I would advise, this is one game that you have to get hold of. It is absolutely amazing. It really is. If you've never played it, I would advise that you get on this roller coaster ride because it is amazing. My indicators are my flappy paddles. I've got to see if I can do this without. I've got a reasonably long trailer there. There we go. Looks like I'm going to get caught at these lights. I thought I would do. So let's get that leveled up. What I'm going to do is jump back inside the cab now. And there we go. And I'm turning right here. Seven hours and 40 minutes to the drop. Let's get going. Indicate. Now the flappy paddles on this, because it is a racing wheel, it's one of those where they don't really, you don't really need to use them unless it was a racing game. So they are probably obsolete at the moment. And because it is a racing wheel, it's, I wouldn't say it's relatively cheap, but it's very well put together. I will go through some of the you can see DHL. I am running the trailer mod. Let's put that indicator on there. Now when you're taking these corners, I tend to take them wide, but what I'm doing is trying to be respectful of the back end and not clip any of the vehicles. It has got a feedback which is very good, in fact. So if I do have a collision, which I hope I don't, I will tell you how that feels. I have got the two mirrors set so that the one issue I have found is there are things like track IR that you can use which move the camera direction wherever you look. And that's something that it's they're not too expensive, but I don't seem to have one, and at the moment I don't feel I need one, although I do have an issue with turning left and right. But I'll show you what I have done. What I have done is I have mapped the keys on the red. If I indicate, they will stop for me, which is probably the best thing that they'll do, and you do have to be mindful that they don't always do what you want them to do, and that's the other vehicles on the road. So be respectful when you are indicating. They will stop, but they don't always do that. Now when I approach the roads coming onto the right, if I indicate, this is a filter road, so you're okay, stay in your lane, you'll come on the correct lane, which is okay. It's when you're braking onto a lane going into, I need to pull back on my I need to get into that lane, so indicate quickly. Oh, I didn't do that too smoothly. And I've mapped my other key so that I can see through my navigation and route finder. As you can see there, it's telling me now that I have got 1 hour and 51 minutes for my next sleep. Moving to the next lane because it looks like I'm going to have to pull over at some stage. I'm going to try and see how far I can go without sleeping. You can set the key so that you could go into the full map and see the distance, but because you've only got a select few, you can still use the keyboard. And how I tend to use this alongside my keyboard, I have my keyboard sat just in front of my wheel, not too far, at a reasonable length that I can operate the keys for my lights, which are there, my high beam, which you can't see because it's day, and my hazards, which are on now. And I tend to use lights. See, it's yawning at the moment, so I really should have took that first stop. So I'm going to pull in here, have a quick sleep. Seem to have enough fuel, so I'm going to pull in here to indicate. I'm probably all over the road until I get used to this wheel, but it does perform quite well. Put some brakes on because I'm approaching that a bit too quick. And let's go in there and let's see if we can get just by this vehicle here without causing a collision, hopefully. And I'll try and pull in. I might be able to just get the front end in, and it might accept that. Yes. So, indicator off. Hit the select button, turn the engine off. Hit the button. Good morning. So, we need to reverse. Just slightly. Okay. Let's indicate. Let's see how long I've got to go now. I've got 6 hours 53. Let's get that set. And this is where I seem to have difficulty pulling out. So let's not get too carried away. Now you can still see where the traffic is. Indicate. Let's see if I can get out on that one. I'm doing it as tight. There you go, you see. And they will actually let you out. So that's not too bad. So we're heading in the right direction. We've got 6 hours and 52 minutes to get to the job there. 10 hours before I need to sleep again, so plenty of time if I've just rested. So moving to the right lane. You do have to be mindful of some of the vehicles. You won't get charged if they actually run into the side of you, because that would be classed as their fault if you are indicating. The wheel seems to perform relatively well here. It's just a matter of me now keeping it in a straight line, and let's see if I can do that ever impressive look behind, but always be mindful that if you're coming up to a corner, it's never the right thing to do. And the way I've mapped that key, it will always center itself, so you don't really run the risk of overlooking, if you understand. So Mets, just take it nice and steady. I've got the limiter on. I try to play the game as realistic as possible, because with the majority of these vehicles, the majority of articulated lorries do have a limiter, which means they are set to go at a certain speed. I've used the indicator correctly to move into the next lane. Just slow down a bit because I feel I'm going too fast for me. And look at that, that was nearly a collision there. And that's one vehicle trying to come in, which is putting me off at the same time. And that's the AIs doing that, which are set to do incredibly crazy things, which make the game interesting as well at the same time. As you can see, that one seems to be, we're getting into, it's 25 minutes past 8 in the evening. So it looks like it's going to be a nighttime run, which I really do not like. Follow this road down. I think I'm going a bit too fast there for me. Look at that. Right across. That's what you have to be mindful of. The AIs have no respect for the road. Nice people, I was going to say people carrier them, but it's actually a car loader in front of me. I'm trying to catch that up so you can have a better look, but I don't want to go too fast because if I lose control, I didn't even look at what I was hauling. It just looked a very nice trailer. Oh dear. I tend to do that sometimes. I really like to pull the trailers that have got things like diggers or, you know, some mechanical vehicle on the back because it just looks so impressive. DHL again. I'm hogging the road a bit there on that corner for a reason. I do not want to hit that central reservation at all. I think what I will do is put some lights on. There you go. So the lights are mapped and they work okay. I'll just check my wipers. Oh, they're working fine. I don't want to get caught out on that. And again, the wipers is a single key, but you hit them twice for 2 speeds. Seems to be working fine, that does. We're at 5 hours and 37. The time scaling on the game is relatively good. You're probably looking at about 15-20 minutes on a run of this particular distance. And the rewards, if we get parked up in the relevant time, are quite rewarding. The gaming experience I find with this Tracer steering wheel is, I find it's very good. I would advise, if you are looking for a steering wheel and you are the kind where you're thinking, I'm not quite sure which steering wheel to purchase, you know, there are a lot out there. You've got the Logitech do an outstanding range. There are some particular wheels that are designed particularly for doing this kind of thing, and I will advise that you do pay for what you get if you go for the high spec. Some of the wheels are that sought after. The price are based on the rarity of finding them, because I've been looking for a while. I was unsure as to, I'm coming up to a toll gate here, which is always a nice feature. I was unsure as to which particular steering wheel to get. I've been watching numerous videos. That's one of the reasons why I've put this video out there, just so that people can see how some of these steering wheels do work, because that is the main reason why I've done this. Nobody really was showing me how a particular wheel works, but they were all telling me what you can purchase. There you go, you see. I'm getting used to the braking. Okay, let's hit my button. I've turned the engine off, so still trying to get used to them, but it works if I get the right buttons. And I've only been using the wheel now for probably a couple of weeks. In between work and other commitments, I've tried to get on this game and understand the controls, so I would say another few weeks and I should understand this 100%. Oh, you were a bit close then, young man. Let's try my horn. There you go. I've even mapped the horn for people, and he's carrying a large load. And I'm taking it steady for a reason, just because I'm showing you how this wheel performs and how it works, which I think is quite impressive at the moment. I sometimes see a judder on the screen, and I'm not 100% sure why and what that is. It could be the sensitivity that I have the wheel set at, because I've got it set relatively high, and the reason for that is because I would want it to react to every movement, which is the same as driving a normal vehicle. If you're heading into something, you want to be able to make that sudden movement, and the wheel would react accordingly. So that's why it could be because of that, or it could just be a frame rate issue that I've got. But at the moment, I'm happy with it. The game seems to be running okay. I don't seem to have any issues with resources and things, so I've got a relatively high spec PC, but not top of the range. So I should be okay. And I am using a capture card, which is hopefully lessening the stress on the CPU. So they all help. If you want to read up about those, there are far too many people giving you ideas on capture cards and things, so I'm not even going to get into that. I've got a relatively well-known one, so I'm not giving advertisements on that. But if you go to my website on YouTube and on Twitch, I've got my specs on there, so you can see what equipment I'm using. And I'm running the mod which gives me a realistic look. If you look at the roads, they look worn. If you look at the central reservations and the barriers, they've got the blue light down the side. That's just to help me. I particularly picked that one because it looked good. You can read about them. You can look at the version of EUROTRUCK you need to be running in order to get these things working. Although Steam have just released another update on the EUROTRUCK scene, so be careful that if you do that, you understand that you will not be able to play the multiplayer if you play the multiplayer, although they have done an update on Truckmaster for the new Steam update. They were quite proactive this time. We didn't have to wait, and I was one of those that was searching through all the forums finding out why I couldn't get on the multiplayer. I've got 4 hours and 21 minutes to go, so as I was saying about the time frame on the game, it's relatively good. If you play the American Truck Simulator, you can do probably 50 miles in probably 5 minutes. It's crazy. But so I have been informed, they are doing a upscale on that one so that the journeys will last a little bit longer, which will make the game just that more realistic. And the one thing I enjoy about this game is it is incredibly realistic. I really do have some fun on this game. I've been playing it for a year or so now, and I absolutely enjoy it. I don't want to run into that barrier there, so I only did a quick turn for you just to see how that works on this controller, which works reasonably well. I'm not going to put my high beam on, although it's getting darker. If I was on the road on my own, I probably would do, and then turn it off as a vehicle approaches, which is what we normally do. I'm doing 49 miles an hour, and the speed limit here is 56, so I think I'm comfortable at that. It's getting darker. I'm down to, let's have a look, I'm down to 3 hours and 52 minutes for my journey. Look at that, the distance. It looks nice. It looks so nice. I'm always one of those guys, I wonder what it would be like to drive an articulated lorry. Never had the opportunity, but this game gives you some hopes and wishes. The foot pedals that actually come with this steering wheel are feedback as well. So when you put your foot down, probably very quickly, like I have just done there, you feel the vibration in the steering wheel, and you feel the vibration in your feet. And it has got all the settings I've put probably halfway, but the collision one, the collision setting for feedback, I have set to full, because the idea is if you have a crash, and I know it's only in the game, you really want to feel that, so that you know. I'm slowing down here. Let's take these corners nice and steady, because the load I'm carrying, I think it's flammable. Let's have a look. There we go. I've got 5% damage, and that's from probably previous things. I've mapped it so that you can see there's no messages. You can see everything that you need to see. That's all in my first video about this particular steering wheel, and I've put the full description of how to map every key that I am using. You can do your own preferences. I've got to indicate and come over here, which I didn't indicate correctly. Let's put some brakes on. Nice and steady. I'm getting used to the brakes slowly. Ease off the brakes. There we go. Indicate. I always say this when I play this game. Why do they make these turns so narrow? I have never been anywhere on a road or a motorway and seen a turning as narrow as this. Yet in the game, I've got to put some gas on. This is me playing the American Truck Simulator gas. I have never seen a turn as tight as you see in this game. I would think the reason for that is just to make the game a little bit more exciting. I'm turning to the left here. It makes it exciting. So I'm going to do one thing for you here. I'm going to pull up as close as I can, and I'm going to show you how it works for me on the turn. Now, if you're indicating and you turn back, you should be able to make that turn, hopefully. And I'm looking through the rear view mirror, so I've had to go as far over as possible just so that I don't catch the back end. And as you can see, the indicators turn off as you make the turn, so they are set correctly. I'm going to put my high beam on, which is my key number 3. I have the keys 1, 2 and 3 set for normal lights, high beam and hazards, which are literally at arm's reach, if that. I'm coming up to another toll booth. I don't think my brakes are set very well, but I can look at that, and that's something that everything that I have done you can set to your own preference. If you like to have sharp brakes, you can have sharp brakes. See, that's just a little bit too sharp there. And then on the keypad I should be pressed in select. There you go, and that puts me straight through with still having full control over the steering wheel. So I've tried to be mindful that it's working well for me, and I have been playing the game for probably a year or so, and I've been using an Xbox 360 control. So a lot of the ideas that I've got have actually come from that control and how that was mapped originally. And I won't go into what software I was using for that, because that's another story in itself. Let's take this high beam off, because I feel that I nearly went, thank you for that. Let's take the high beam off. Normally what you'll find is if you do leave your high beam on, you'll notice that the other vehicles will flash and let you know that your high beam is on. So be mindful of other drivers as you would on the main road in the real world. And I am taking it steady. I'm a little bit too cautious, but I think you'll understand if you see how this wheel is performing at the moment. I was one of those guys that said I wouldn't buy a steering wheel. Why do you want a steering wheel? I am called the 50+ gamer, so you can understand I'm not necessarily a child, but the idea is, look at this straight. I love when, look at that, straight across. It's not for me to stop, is it? It's for them to look out for me. But that's what they're there to do, make the game interesting. It's telling me I've got 2 hours and 37 minutes to the drop. Speed limit's 36 that I'm doing. Well, the speed limit's 56, so I'm being a little bit too cautious. I love the colour of the blue on the central reservations. It looks nice. We should adopt that in real world. I've put my foot down a bit as I'm approaching another toll booth. I normally just take my foot off the gas, cruising, bit of brake, take my foot off the brake and just roll in. This is not me telling you guys how to drive, by the way. I'm just giving you advice on how this steering wheel is working for me. Pretty reactive. There you go. Press the relevant key and you go straight through. This way you're not having to reach over to the keyboard for certain things. So as you can see what I've done, DHL, that's the trailer mod working fine. I'm going to try and look out for some others, because I was mindful that I was just looking for something to make some of these trailers look a little bit more interesting, because Fed Ed, never heard of him, was a little bit, but I've got FedEx now, and these mods can be obtained in the Steam workshop. Well, he's putting his foot down a bit. And it's when the road's like this, I always want to just go and put my high beam on. Just drifting over there a little bit, and the steering wheel is vibrating rapidly to tell me that I moved into the wrong lane, which is quite good. Now you do have to be careful when you come off here, because vehicles do come down at speed. Let's take that off now, because I've got some sort of visor or something, because I noticed the lights at the top go dim when I pass them. And the road, look how realistic that road looks. It's got the cracks in it. It's got the wear on it. It's got the, you know, when they've done dug a piece up and things and they've not filled it in properly, which you do see a lot of. It's got that line down it where they've had to resurface one part and not been able to do the other. So somebody's really taken care in making this look as realistic as possible. What's that saying above? Lynn Touring. So we're not too far away now. We're an hour and 48. I don't like that, so let's put my high beam on. There you go. It works quite well. You can see how that vehicle's literally, it's lit up. I have got, if you look at my vehicle, I have modded it with some serious lights on. So probably when I put these lights on, I'm probably blinding the whole world. It's like the sun's... Here we go, look, we're going to catch him, think. That's my DHL mod. Look at that. Put my foot down, see if I can overtake him. There he goes, look, taking his parcels to the right people. Express Logistics. That's me looking at him. Let's turn that off as I pass. There we go. Express Logistics. That's what you want, isn't it? Just makes the game more interesting. There are mods out there so you can do your own thing, guys. Took that a little bit too fast. Let me slow down. This is the difference when I get carried away. There are some nice features that they've added, which I do think is very impressive. You can be driving along and you'll notice something and you'll think that is very good. I have been informed that there's a Barcelona map coming out with another new update, which looks very impressive. There's a very well-known broadcaster who's done an outstanding video on the Barcelona and Iceland. I watched those the other night and I was very, very impressed, and to be honest, I can't wait for those to come out. It's always nice playing EUROTRUCK and that lot, but you always, I mean, just imagine driving around in Barcelona. Absolutely amazing. DSV, must be a trailer mod, that one. Here we go, another toll booth. Get into that one. I'm not used to this brakes too well, so that's something I am going to have to look at throughout the week, because it's just not reacting the way I want it to react. I would like to be using the brake and put a bit of pressure on, feel it slowing down and then ease off where I need to, but it seems to, it's probably because I've not played it enough, so it's something that I am mindful of. I will be posting another video very soon, but that will be the American Truck Simulator. I'm going to try it on that. I've mapped it and everything, but I haven't actually done a run anywhere. I posted the video a few weeks ago just showing the whole setup, and I'd literally just finished mapping all the keys and stuff, and it wasn't that difficult, but you know, it was just one of those things where somebody somewhere is going to do something which is called time saving, where you just plug it in and it's all ready to go. That's really what you want, because it's a steering wheel. This particular steering wheel has got one particular error that I will point out to everybody. It's got a mini joystick on the steering wheel, But that mini joystick, I have to underline, and I have put in my descriptions on the first video, it works the same as the steering wheel, which mistake I made. I wanted to use it as my look around, which would have been absolutely amazing, but when I looked to the left, the whole vehicle careered into the central reservation because it acted exactly as the steering wheel, and I didn't realise. That's where I got my 5% damage from, which at the moment it's not affected the running of the vehicle. I'm mindful that the more jobs I do, I can then afford to repair it. So let's put some brakes on there. There you go. So we're at 6 minutes. We're at 5 miles. So we're only 8 minutes away according to my sat nav there. So just through talking, yeah, we've probably done an hour in the space of what? 5 minutes? Here we go. If I've pronounced it right, we're in Lynn. Or Lyon. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'll look that up and get that correct. Impressive tunnel. You can see the juddering on the wheel. I will try and look into that and find out what that is. Let's turn this off as well. I've got my not veering to anybody while I'm doing this. High beam's gone off. Fuel consumption seems okay. I can see my destination. Seems to have performed really well. Responsive. Hands off the steering wheel, it runs straight, nice. It's quite good. I'm going to move into this other lane. I've put some brakes on. Mindful that I'm coming into the city centre. And now when you come into the city centre, I did the right thing. You're always going to hit a speed limit of about 30 or 40, so we're up to 50 here, but it's telling me on my sat nav it's 31, so that's the difference between, and I'm turning right here. So see if I can get through these lights. Oh, I'm going to do it. Oh, I just got through without getting fined. Look at that. Take it nice and wide. Always be mindful that when you turn a corner, guys, you look through your rear view mirror. I'm turning in here. Let's put some brakes on. Let's just take that one as one turn. Let's go in. And let's have a look where we're putting this thing. There we go. Look. There we go. So I'm going to try and do this in one go. Right round. Let's see if we can do that and take this all the way over. All the way over. No, you can't. Always remember on this one, you always run out of... There we go. Straighten that up. Here we go. Brakes on. Right, so what I'm going to do, guys, is we've managed to finish that journey with no collisions. So I'm going to come outside the vehicle just to show you guys. The mod that I'm running is the camera mod, so you can see the distance that I can pull back on. And the reason for this is just to show you guys how the vehicle, how this particular steering wheel performs. So let's have a look now. Now this is me working out my steering. Let's go back. Let's get it in. Look at that. Try and keep that straight. Come back there. I need to go in slightly so that I can see. We'll do it from this side. I need to level that up. Looks like I'm going to have to come forward slightly. Leave that like that. Let's swing that right round now. And I should... No, it was too tight. So let's just stop that there. And let's pull that forward. And then let's go up there. That's it. Okay, let's try it at that. You can see where I hit the reverse too hard. 'Cause I'm just mindful of not hitting the... That's it. Let's turn that round. Try and keep... I'm just trying to bring it in nice and steady. And then come straight. There we go. There we go. So hopefully now I should just be able to steady it back. There we go. Just give me a little bit of a... See if I can get away with that one. And there you go, guys. So that's the night time. I hate... Get that. And what I'm going to try and do is show you the... This is the advanced coupling. Let's see if I can get it this side for you. If you look towards the rear wheels, you will see the two advanced... Well, you can only see one of them. And if I hit the trailer down button, well, because I haven't got it coupled, they went down incredibly quick, but I did that excellent. 297 miles gives me 8,358. My level is 24, so it's given me 3,008. I got a skill rank of 787. I got a urgent delivered bonus of 472. So the total for that particular job was 12,625, which was classed as excellent. It was an enjoyable journey. I hope you enjoyed the video, and the reason for this video was for those people who are playing this game and are not sure of what particular steering wheel to purchase. This particular steering wheel that I purchased was reasonable. There will be descriptions in, there will be all the specs and everything in my descriptions. I apologize for the fact that I am not 100% on these videos, and I am the 50 Plus Gamer, and thank you very much for watching my video, and have a wonderful day.